Welcome to Uping Stock Trend Prediction channel. So in this video, I will talk about the 5 tips and the guidelines to make profitable stock trading. And it's basically about how to make a profit and reduce risks in stock investment. So number one is about select the best stock with great potential value and great self-recovery potential, and also is suitable for your investment strategy and style. So there's many over 6,000 stocks, different type of stocks, and in different industries. So basically, you don't have enough time to pick up to do all those type of research about each stock. So you have to have select some kind of promising industry and the promising stocks. Those are some kind of best stocks based on your information and knowledge, and there's some kind of promising and have a good potential growth for some types of stocks. So you may select several or a few stocks from different industry. And for example, for during the pandemic or even during some kind of a depression, and the some kind of energy or pharmaceutical or those type of bank or digital or computer science, for those type of a good industry, so they can have a good self-recovery potential. And that means even during some kind of overall decrease of the stock price, it may still have a good opportunity to recover. And also for those type of promising stocks in some kind of promising industry, and it may have sometimes it may still in growth period of time, and it are still very good type of stocks you can select. And even for those type of big companies that have a very good reputation, and generally it is a big company and have a very good and stable financial status, and that type of stocks are also have a very good potential, can have a good ability to keep the value and have the great recovery potential. For example, for Amazon, the price is relatively high, so some people may not want to purchase Amazon stock, but it's generally have a good stability, and sometimes it may, for example, it may decrease or increase the price for about $100 or $200. And even for this type of fluctuation, depends on its actual price per share. The percentage fluctuation, percentage value is still relatively not that type of significant. So those type of good best stocks is basically you can also need to find which type of stock that is suitable for your strategy and style. So number two is know more about your strategy and the style. So it's basically about the different type of goals. So if do you want to make an investment for long term or mid term or short term or even day trade, so depends on different type of goal you want to um, have those type of profit or gain, and that will also correspond to different investment strategy and action. And also it's also related to different type of risk tolerance level. So because, for example, for those type of a big company, or if for those kind of rich people, if they have millions of dollars or billions of dollars, they don't care about some type of loss in their investment. If they invest some kind of $100 or a few $100,000, or maybe like a small percentage to their basically the whole invested money, and then even though there's some kind of reduction in their investment, if there's some kind of a loss, they have a better chance to resist those type of loss. So they have a better risk tolerance level. So, but for some individual investor, and if they don't have a lot of money to invest, and if there's some kind of a certain amount of loss, and then they will become panic and also fear of the additional loss. So the risk tolerance level is much lower. So depends on the different level of resistance tolerance, it may have to use different type of investment strategy. So you need to have a good balance of the taking profit and the risk. And also, for example, so some people may tell you, if you buy this type of a stock or that type of a stock, and it will increase by maybe by 5 times or 10 times in 5 years or in 10 years, or maybe in a couple for several years. But for that type of investment, sometimes I don't think this is a very good kind of prediction about when to buy the stock or when to sell the stock. It's good to give you some kind of idea about the overall information about which type of stock are good candidate, so that you can spend more time to keep a track of that, or do some kind of investment if you have a lot of extra money. Because if you put that type of amount of investment there, and maybe it will not uh, increase the price until maybe like a couple of years later. And each year's inflation, and right now it's already increased to 6% or 7%. So even though you wanted to keep up with that type of inflation, you still need to make you expect to make money for your investment. You don't want to spend a lot of money, put it there and put it aside and just wait for a long time for it to grow. And I don't think that is a very good strategy. But it is a strategy if you have a lot of extra money, or if you don't have a good analysis tool or prediction tool, then you can kind of rely on that type of investment. But during that type of investment period of time, and sometimes the stock price is always fluctuating. It has some kind of a change. So when you don't expect or don't see a sudden increase or a rapid growth, then sometimes due to the fluctuation, you may see some kind of the loss, a temporary loss, or some amount of loss, and then you will have some kind of a frustrating feeling, or kind of a panic or fear, those type of a feeling. So it's kind of also related to risk tolerance level. So depends on your goal, and that's also you need to have different type of investment strategy. So number three, so you need to have a great analysis tool. So based on the current investment market, so I have compared some kind of a different type of tools or platforms, and so far there's not many, or maybe there's no other in prediction model, something like similar to Uping based prediction model. So in Uping prediction and analysis tools, some videos have been posted in the YouTube from the Uping stock prediction channel, and that type of tool have some kind of a unique prediction model about the trend line and the maximum and the minimum price of the stock fluctuations for the next week or next day or next month. So that type of a tool, I will show you another figure about that. So basically, if you have that type of great analysis tools, then you will have more kind of tools to know the trend of the stock price fluctuation. That means you will get to know more about the stock market, and you can do more homework about this type of tools. So that's very important to do the actual the investment, because you will more confidence about the investment. You will have a good estimation about the best time to sell, or best time to buy a specific type of a stock. So for this type of a tool, and you can watch Uping stock trend prediction channel in YouTube. I will just show you an example. So this is a Tesla weekly chart, and this is a Tesla daily chart. So basically you can choose different time frame, like a daily, 60 minutes, or even 5 minutes. So daily, weekly, monthly. So depends on the different time frame you choose. For example, if this is a weekly chart, so that means each vertical bar, this is a bar chart. So each vertical bar is a real-time stock data in that week. So that's a different week, uh, the real-time stock price for different week. And this yellow trend lines is a kind of a maximum price trend lines. This is this green trend lines are also a kind of minimum price trend lines. So this kind of trend lines are developed by the European stock trend prediction model. So you see this kind of a maximum price of the Tesla stock price in that week. You see it matches this trend line very well, and it touches this trend line, and it is started to turn the direction, and you see this maximum price reaches this maximum price, and then it started to decrease. And you see even for this minimum price of the stock price, when it decreases to this trend lines, and then even for this special dot, and it started to rebound, started to turn the direction. So if you know this type of trend lines for prediction of the maximum price and the minimum price, basically you will get an idea about when it is the best time to buy the stock. Uh, and also it is the best time to sell the stock at this high price region, or the maximum price, or buy the stock at this minimum price, or the minimum price region, or sell the stock at this maximum stock price. So this, even though you are doing a day trade, or even trade with in weekly, or even in hourly, and I have compared a lot of stock price, and even in hourly base, and during the first hour of each day, it basically it's almost covers all the fluctuation of the stock price in that day. So even though you are doing this kind of 1 week, this kind of the stock price change sometimes is very big, noticeable. Sometimes it may goes to $100 or $70, or maybe like $50 of a difference. And even though if you can catch this type of big stock price change, the difference in a short term, in a daily base, or weekly base, or even monthly base, then you can make more money in daily base, or weekly, or monthly base. So you don't need to worry about those kind of long-term investment, and then you don't see a real time, or don't see a immediate growth in the investment. If you need to wait for a long time, like several years, and then during those several years, the stock price may have some kind of a fluctuation, and may decrease, and you see the loss. And for that type of investment, I mean, I mean, basically, if you have a good tool to capture this type of a maximum and minimum price, and you do this type of investment in a shorter term, and then that means you can make more money, make more profit. Then those type of a very long-term investment, like waiting for 1 year, 2 year, or 5 or 10 years, and then you still didn't see those type of rapid or expected growth, or maybe you can see some kind of loss. So depends on compared to those type of investment strategy. I will more prefer this type of shorter terms shorter terms investment, but you will still gain those type of a profit or make more money if you know this type of trend or minimum or maximum price. So if you have a good tool, that's the best strategy you can use. So another one, number 4, find the best time to buy and the best time to sell. So anyway, this item is also related to item 3. So if you have a very good analysis tools, so basically you will know the estimated maximum price and the minimum price. And for those kind of, it's all happens all the times. The stock price will fluctuate. It's always fluctuating if you are doing day trade. So if you check a smaller time frame, like hourly time frame or even 10 minutes time frame, it's the stock price is always fluctuating. It's go up and down, up and down. It's always changing. So but the moving average will have some kind of a trend. So that's why you can use some kind of a trend lines or prediction model to predict how it will move, how it will go, because the moving average will kind of have some kind of a trend, either increasing or decreasing trend. So the stock price, so even though it fluctuating in a short period of time, in a short time frame, but its average value or it's the center of its fluctuation, it will go up or go down. It has some kind of a trend. So that means if you have those type of good analysis tool, so basically you can find the best time to buy and best time to sell. So basically we always want to buy the stock at the low price region, at the perfect some kind of a minimum price region, and we want to sell the stock at the high price region or at the maximum price region. But sometimes we may not capture the exact perfect minimum or maximum price. But if we know those type of trend and know those type of maximum and minimum price, and we can set the order, and then we can have a better chance to purchase it at the low price region or sell it at the high price region. So that's how we can make money. So even though if the stock price decrease, and if it start from the maximum price and then decrease to minimum price, you can still do trading in an opposite way. You can still short the stock, and basically then if it is decrease from the maximum price to the minimum price, if you short the stock, or even though you buy the put option, you do some kind of option trading, you can still make money even though it's increasing or decreasing. So that's the number 4. So basically number 5 is about how to reduce the loss and the risk. So this item is very important because you nobody can guarantee it's always the stock price goes in the 100% consistently with what you expect. So when it goes up, when the stock price goes up, increase, a lot of people will start to follow and start to purchase. But when it started to go to that maximum price region, so it has more risk to lose money because 80% of people probably they are not making a lot of money overall, and because they sometimes they just don't know the trend in advance. They just follow some kind of other big investors or follow the trend. So when the stock price increase, a lot of people will make a kind of a temporary money. But when it is increased to a certain point, when it reaches to the maximum price region, and other people, most of the people, if they don't have a prediction model or analysis tool, then they don't realize that it's already reached the maximum price region. So if they still continue to buy, and then they have more risk to lose money, because when it reaches the maximum price, and then it will suddenly and reduce the price very rapidly. And if you observe the trend and the change of the stock price, you will see. I mean, sometimes when it started to decrease the price, it decreased very quickly. So, and lots of people, when they purchased the stock at the maximum price region, they are just stuck there. And when it started to decrease, and then they already see a certain amount of loss, and then they started to be panic or fear, and they don't want to take that loss. And then when the stock price continues to decrease, and then the loss that hole will become bigger and bigger. So it's very important to know how to stop buying when it goes to the maximum price region. So it's a kind of a resisting temptation of buying more. So it's another kind of very important another type of feeling. So feel loss when it started to have some kind of loss. So this is very important, and you need to make a good decision about if you need to continue to take a loss or the stop loss immediately in stop loss in time. So because different people will have different risk tolerance level, like what I mentioned before. Some people, if they have a lot of money for investment, they have a higher risk tolerance level, so they can just hold the stock for a certain time or longer time to wait the stock price started to recover. But some individual investors, if they don't have a lot of money to invest, and they care about a lot of those type of loss or their invested money, and then their risk tolerance level is relatively lower. So that means, example, if they lose $300 or $500, $600, they don't want to close it. They don't want to sell the stock and stop the loss immediately or in time. But if the stock market is really going bad, and then it just started to decrease, the price decrease more and more, and then that hole becomes bigger and bigger, and then if they just goes to a certain level, they can't just resist, can't just withstand those type of loss, and then they started to sell them the stock at a much lower price. So that's a type of a big loss. So if you have no more about your risk tolerance level and your investment strategy, and you will get a better decision about if you need to continue to take loss or you need to stop the loss in time immediately. So based on the normal, excluding those type of normal fluctuation, if the stock price decrease outside of the normal typical fluctuation region, and it's a better decision to stop the loss in time, stop the loss immediately, and because there's some several benefits. First benefit is if you stop the loss earlier, and then if the stock price continues to decrease a lot, and then you will have because you already sold it, and then you will have a better chance to buy it at a much lower price if it has the capability to start to increase the price, or you can prevent more loss. Basically, if it continuously go down, and then you can prevent more loss, and also you can prevent that type of more frustrating and fear or panics, those type of feeling. So that have this type of three types of benefits. So when I say this, I'm saying just says excluding those type of typical fluctuation, because as I said just now, if you are doing day trade or weekly trade or monthly trade, I mean for a smaller time frame or a smaller time frame, it will still have some kind of a fluctuation. So when you see purchase some stocks, and you will see some kind of uh, um, gain and loss from time to time. So some in certain range is this type of a fluctuation or change is normal or typical. So if you have to set some kind of a risk resistance level or region range. So when it started to decrease, you are not just freak out, or you are just not selling the stock immediately earlier than it's necessary. So that means you still need to hold that type of stock for a certain time so that it can avoid that type of normal or regular fluctuation. So even though it decreases to a certain region, but if it's still going to increase the value, and then you are still in a good shape, because when you see those type of change fluctuation from the fluctuation frequency and the strength of those kind of fluctuation, then you will get a good sense about if the stock price will still want to push to a certain limit, push to a, for example, to a maximum price, and when it reaches the maximum price, it will always trying to reach to that maximum price for certain cycles, and it goes up and down until it reaches until it kind of reaches to a limit that it can't pass that maximum price, and then it will start to decrease. So that's basically based on if you don't have a good analysis model. But if you have a good analysis model, like the Uping stock trend prediction model, those kind of a trend line, then if you have those kind of a trend line, then you will get a more better chance to know um, when it is a good time to sell it or buy it, and because you will know those type of maximum price, prediction maximum price and the minimum price. So basically, the bottom line is, if you get to know the trend in advance, if possible, that will give you a better chance to know the best time to buy or best time to sell. So will better chance to make a correct decision or good decision. So that's some kind of guidelines or tips about how to make a good decision, make a profitable stock investment, and also may have some kind of more information about the how to predict the maximum price or minimum price. So if you wanted to know more information about those type of prediction, or if you have more questions, you can subscribe Upin Stock Trend Prediction channel, or you can watch more videos from Upin Stock Trend Prediction in YouTube. So that provides some kind of stock trend prediction. Right now, based on the limitation of the availability of the time, so right now that channel focuses on prediction of the stock, Tesla stock price, the trend, and the minimum and the maximum price. It may also predict some trend for other stocks, but right now it focuses on those type of Tesla or Amazon or some other promising stocks. So it also have some kind of a comparison between the predicted maximum price and the minimum price and the actual stock price happened later. So some examples provided in those videos. So some examples will show just some kind of a $5 difference, or maybe even $2 or $10 difference for those type of Tesla or Amazon stocks. So even for $5 difference or $10 difference for those $3,000 of Amazon per share Amazon stock, or about $1,000 Tesla stock, those type of a small difference, $2, $5 difference, is very small. It has a very good prediction accuracy for a good success rate. So you are welcome to subscribe Uping Stock Trend Prediction channel. Thanks for watching the video.